Good morning, everybody. My name is Kimberly Thomas. I am an artist in residence for Nassau Arts Alive. I'm currently serving Hilliard Elementary School. Hi, my Hilliard friends. I wanted to do a little live streaming today and probably once a week for some how-to videos on making art. So we're going to do a live stream at noon and do a watercolor painting of this beautiful seascape at the Elizabeth Point Lodge. Thank you so much, Tara Dunlop, for letting us use the porch of the lodge to be able to make this video. We are practicing excellent social distancing. The only people here are myself and my daughter, and so we haven't had to interact with anybody, and that has been lovely. But before we get started on our watercolor a little bit later, I wanted to go over some different kinds of paints and supplies because I know it can be really confusing when you start out. So the first thing I want to talk about is paint that you're not going to use. Paint is super easy. It's a pigment and a binder. A pigment is how something gets its color, and the binder is the thing that holds the paint together. So this is oil paint. So for oil paint, you have our pigment, our color, and then we have our binder, how it holds together, which is oil. So you don't want to use this right now. Maybe when you're a little bit older, or maybe if you have some more experience. I didn't start oil painting until I was an adult. Part of the problem with oil paint is because it is oil. Hello. No problem, thank you. Okay. Because it is oil, it takes a really long time to dry, a super, super long time to dry. And it can sometimes take days for certain colors to dry. It's also really hard to clean up, and you need some chemicals that aren't necessarily safe to be able to clean it up. So that might be something to look into a little later, but not for now. Another great way to start painting is with tempera paint. I don't have any tempera paint to show you, but tempera is kind of neat. It's pigment, and it has water, and then the binder used to be, a long time ago, eggs that held it together. Now there's kind of an egg substitute. Tempera paint works a lot like watercolor paint, and I really like to use it. It's a little bit translucent. You can see through it a bit, which is really pretty, and you can get some interesting effects. But my favorite way to get people to start painting is by using acrylic paint. I like these acrylic paints. These are Liquitex Basics. They are inexpensive, and you get a really nice big tube of it. And acrylic paint, the binder is kind of like a plastic. So you have pigment, and then you have a kind of plastic binder. The cool thing about that is that you can paint white paint over top of black paint, and it'll cover it right up. And it's a really interesting way to learn how to paint because it's super easy and super forgivable. If you mess something up, you can paint over top of it. But there's a trick about acrylic paints. When I was in art school, we were only allowed to use 6 colors. You can probably guess them. My Hilliard Elementary students should know. Red, yellow, and blue are our primary colors. Those are our mixing colors. And then white, black, and brown. And you know what? Some of my professors didn't even let us use black. We were allowed to use red, yellow, blue, white, and brown. So the cool thing about that is if you're looking for paints to get started, you can just buy a few tubes. You don't have to buy every color. I'm going to do a video maybe next week, and we'll talk about how to mix colors. And it's going to blow your mind. You can mix all the colors. It's fantastic, and we'll learn a lot about that. So what kind of paint are we going to use today? Today we're going to use watercolor. And the reason I picked watercolor today is because I thought a lot of you at home may have some watercolors sitting around. Sometimes you have to get them for school supplies, and you maybe have them hidden on a shelf, and they're also super inexpensive. So I got as a present these really, really cool Japanese watercolors, and I wanted to show you those because I really like them. It has lots of different colors, and they come out in these little cubes that I thought were really neat. I think we got them on Amazon as a gift. But the ones I recommend that people start with is just this little set of watercolors that you can get from Michael's. When you're picking watercolors, these are $5. This is a great set. When you're picking watercolors, I like the ones that feel really dry and chalky. There's some watercolors that are called semi-moist watercolors, and they feel a little bit sticky. Those are a little bit harder to use and a little bit harder to get really nice color out of, but these dry, chalky ones, they're really fantastic. And so to get started with watercolor painting, you need paper, you need water, you need a set, which a lot of times will come with a paintbrush, and or you can buy some other paintbrushes. Sophia, do you want to show your watercolors and paintbrushes? Okay, bring your paintbrushes and your watercolors We'll show your ocean painting a little bit later, okay?
What about the little paintbrushes over there?
Oh, yeah. So these are Sophia's watercolor brushes. Hold them up for the camera. So they're super soft, super easy to use. And this is her set of watercolor paint that she likes to use. Good. Why don't you get your ocean painting and you can show it? She's been out here practicing for a little while. Just pick up your whole book, Pumpkin. Good. Hold it up. And she's been looking at the ocean and doing a beautiful watercolor ocean painting. All right. So I think that's all that I have for now. I'm going to stop the video and then I'll see you at 12 o'clock and we will live stream how to do the painting. Thanks, friends.
It didn't actually make it look exactly